So what is the benchmark confidence probability of did I miss that? Okay. Benchmark confidence, right? So probability of the consequent is your benchmark. So probability of blue. Okay, so probability of blue is right here. Support as a percentage, that's your probability. All right. So lift ratio is that divided by that.
How'd you get benchmark?
Benchmark is the consequent, probability of the consequent. So here consequent is what? So go to support expressed as percentage. So that's your benchmark confidence. So all right. So same here, benchmark for here is probability of red. All right. So then you copy that, then you get the ratio. So proceed in that fashion. Yes.
What do you do on the next one whenever it's white and blue and
So like here.
Yeah.
All right. So here the confidence, first let's get the confidence. Confidence will be blue, red and white, right? Blue, red and white is that, okay, and divided by the antecedent which is blue.
I think more like a benchmark whenever you have two.
Yeah, so this will be probably, yeah, so your benchmark is probability of the consequent, which is red and white. So
Okay.
that, okay, so then you get your all right, so that's how you would compute the lift. So lift ratio is an important consideration. So we've already done all this. So lift greater than 1 indicates the rule is useful, so it's not completely random. All right, so greater than 1. 1 means it's just the same as whether if they are independent. Okay, less than 1 is even worse. It can be less than 1. Okay, so let's look at some interpretations. So an efficient rule, so a high ratio, lift ratio is an efficient, strong rule. But just because you have an efficient rule doesn't mean, for example, just because the lift is high doesn't mean that it is very useful, because if the support is very low, the meaning that rule occurs very few times. You have 100,000 transactions and this rule occurs say 50 times. Very few times, but the association is really great. The lift is really great. So lift by itself may not be very useful. Okay? An efficient rule is very effective. It's preferable. High confidence rule are preferable as they find consequent at higher rate, okay, which is what we talked about. Low confidence rule finds consequent at a lower rate. See, that's the opposite of the high confidence. So that's not very effective. An effective rule, which is one with high lift ratio, with low support, is not very useful because it doesn't occur that often. So it occurs once in a blue moon, so who cares? Even though the association is really good. Okay, a very efficient rule with very low support may not be as desirable as relatively less efficient, something that has smaller lift, but the confidence is high. Okay, so that would be more useful. Okay, all right. So now, what I'm going to do is, so we are running out of time. So I do want to run this. So here I'm going to show you a couple of things, and then I'll do a more detailed video and post it. So I want you to do this in SAS. It's very easy. So you create a data source. So here there are a couple of things you have to do in the data source. So I already have the Charles transaction. So bring that in, right? So now here this database has, it's about book sales, what books people are buying, right? So book is your target. Okay, so here I have this already in your Word document. So book is your target. Okay. Then there is one more thing you should do, and the role. Okay. Use train and validate. So you have to set the role to transactions, because that's when SAS will know that you have to combine all the records with the same ID, right? So we need to identify that the transaction, the database, the data source should be transaction, and then here is your association. Association, so the rules are pretty straightforward here. So maximum number of items, that's both the antecedent and consequent together. If you say 4, so you will create all rules that contain 4 items in both, counting both sides. Okay, so maximum confidence level, 0 to 100. So any rule that has less confidence than this is thrown out. It's not considered. Okay, support type, you can use count or percent. Okay, and you can specify, if you say count, this will be not dimmed, this will be dimmed, then you can say you need to have at least this count as support, or at least this percentage as support. And that's it. Those are the only things that you have to worry about, and then you run, and it will give you a bunch of rules for you to look at. Okay. So you have the results, so it gives you all of that stuff, and if you expand that, it will give you all the rules. And it will give you the confidence. Expected confidence is your benchmark, confidence, what is the support, what is the lift, the transaction count, and so on. So then you will sort this association rules from largest to smallest lift. So you will have the maximum lift rules at the top.